Sometimes people think compromise means squishy, centrist. It doesn't. The whole idea of a democratic society is that there must be a consensus, and it's a consensus that should be based on rational dialogue. We must not become a hostile, factious, divisive society. We must be a society that has a broad consensus on certain very fundamental values.
Justice Anthony Kennedy, back in 2005. Joining us tonight is the former U.S. Supreme Court Justice Anthony Kennedy. He has written a new book titled Life, Law, and Liberty. Justice Kennedy, thank you so much for being here. I read the book. It was a great read. Congratulations.
Well, it's a pleasure and an honor to be here, and especially coming from you, who've written some wonderful books about our history and our great leaders, including the book about Washington.
Well, thank you. What did you take away from this process, and what you wanted to explore by writing this?
My beginning point was just to write down a memoir for my children and grandchildren who did not know about a small town in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s when I grew up. And it seemed to me, as the writing progressed, that it's very important in this day and age to talk about the marvelous potential of freedom of speech and to make sure that it is not undercut by a hostile, fractious discourse.
Justice Kennedy, you retired from the Supreme Court in July of 2018, and obviously a lot has transpired since then. You were the last Supreme Court nominee to be confirmed unanimously, 97-0 back in 1987. I mean, that was a different time, a different era.
I think that the public and the legislature has every right to contribute to that debate. The Constitution's made for that kind of debate.
In your book, you offer some pretty strong concerns over where our current political discourse has taken us. You're worried about it.
My concern is that partisanship plays too much of a role in the selection and nomination process for judges. Historically, presidents have appointed members of their own party to the bench, but there should be more emphasis on the other elements of, and requisites for a good judge.
You know, you've said in recent days that you think maybe the modern Supreme Court now has become too personal, too confrontational in some of the ways they've written. What do you mean by that?
Well, you study the court by studying the opinions, and the opinions are a little bit more personal, a little bit more confrontational than, in my view, they ought to be. We're there to disagree. We're sworn to disagree. We love to disagree. That's what being lawyers and judges and law professors, that's what it's all about. But we have to disagree in basically a friendly way.
You know, you were often described by the media as kind of the man in the middle, the swing justice. You write about this in your book, page 217. While I did not pay much attention to the media reports about our work, it would be disingenuous to deny being called the swing justice by the press. That term always bothered me. The cases swung, not me. So it got to you a little bit.
Well, the swing justice has a visual metaphor. You can almost see someone in your mind swinging from left to right, from right to left. In my view, my ideas were consistent, and it was the cases that were different.
I know you've still engaged with members of the court privately, and you obviously had two who served as your law clerks together, Justice Gorsuch and Justice Kavanaugh, back in 1993. What advice would you give them, or do you give them, I should say, about, you know, reaching consensus, collegiality, that sort of thing, from your perspective now looking backwards?
It seemed to me both Neil Gorsuch and Brett Kavanaugh have the capacity and the personality and the temperament and the learning to make sure that the court is perceived by the public and in reality is a collegial place in which we have great respect for each other.
I did an interview with Justice Barrett recently, and I asked her, they say you're helping to certify this move towards authoritarianism. How do you respond to that?
We're not deciding cases just for today. And we're not deciding cases based on the president, as in the current occupant of the office. We're deciding cases about the presidency.
That's the criticism that this court is somehow empowering President Trump to trample on democracy. You know, how do you look at it right now?
Each branch of the government has a duty to obey the Constitution. There are many things that happen that cannot be brought to the courts. And even in those cases, in every instance, every day, every member of the executive branch, every member of the legislative branch has to remember to respect and understand the meaning of freedom and the meaning of liberty in the Constitution.
What's the most consequential opinion that you wrote that you look back at and say, this was it?
Well, perhaps the flag burning case was one. We have to remember that the freedom of speech is not just for speech that we like. And it seemed to me that the flag case, difficult as it was for those of us who said that the burning was permissible, was a great teaching lesson. And it was interesting, Brett, that, as I recall, 80 senators got to the floor of the Senate to denounce the court and denounce the opinion. And over time, that decision was accepted by more and more people. And that's part of what the court does. We give reasons, hoping that over time, we can be respected by a majority of the American people.
Last thing, you know, in this memoir, you point out that in this life and where you are now, you give some thought about your legacy. How do you want to be remembered?
Because of my respect for family and my neighbors and for the American people in general, my purpose was to show that the law is something that all of us can love, because the law opens new avenues for us to see a world beyond.
Justice Kennedy, thank you so much. The book again, Life, Law, and Liberty. Thank you again.
Thank you so very much. It's an honor to be on your program, and congratulations on your own wonderful writings.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.